clashes broke out in Minneapolis as protests for and against the Trump administration's intensified immigration crackdown escalated, prompting the Minnesota governor to mobilize National Guard troops and place them on standby. While the Guard has not yet been deployed on city streets, authorities say they are ready to assist the law enforcement if required, and the unrest follows days of demonstrations after federal authorities expanded immigration enforcement across Minneapolis and St. Paul, deploying more than 2,000 federal officers. A large group of protesters, in fact, confronted a much smaller gathering attending an anti-Somali and pro-ICE rally in downtown Minneapolis, forcing the group to disperse. Right-wing activist Jake Lang, who organized the pro-ICE demonstration, appeared injured while leaving the area with visible bruises and scrapes. Police later moved in with heavy equipment as snowballs and water balloons were thrown during the confrontation. The protests have now been fueled by anger over aggressive enforcement tactics, including masked officers making arrests at homes and traffic stops. Tensions further intensified after a U.S. citizen was fatally shot by an ICE officer earlier this month. A federal judge has since ruled that immigration officers cannot detain or use force against peaceful protesters who are not obstructing operations. Meanwhile, residents affected by recent raids have described living in fear, citing repeated detentions and home raids. State authorities have said that they are balancing public safety with the right to protest as Minneapolis remains on the edge amid an increasingly charged political and social climate. Now, clashes erupted in downtown Minneapolis after right-wing influencer Jake Lang was confronted by counter-protesters, triggering tense scenes and a police intervention. Lang was seen surrounded by demonstrators before being escorted out by authorities as parts of the crowd followed and shouted. Police issued warnings to clear the streets and attempted to disperse the gathering as tensions escalated. And during the exit, Lang was seen with visible blood while officers tried to move him through the area, highlighting the volatility of the confrontation. Counter-protesters accused Lang of provoking tensions over recent days, alleging that his presence and supporters had intensified confrontations. And they maintained that their own gathering was largely peaceful and aimed at pushing back against ideologies they oppose. Other demonstrators, however, said they were protesting what they described as an occupation of their city. Lang later claimed on social media that he had been stabbed during the incident, a claim that has not been independently verified. Authorities continue to assess the situation as Minneapolis remains on the edge amid heightened political demonstrations. That was the right-wing influencer Lang, who was whisked away. Although he claims that he was stabbed during a protest, it has not been verified. But what we can tell you is that while he was being escorted, there were scrapes and also blood that was seen. Whether Lang was attacked or not, that remains to be seen. Investigations continue. But on-ground protests have continued to intensify against ICE crackdown. While some say that the protest is against an ideology they oppose, the others are protesting over a claim that their city is being occupied. So these are the demonstrations that have marred normalcy in Minneapolis, and now federal agents are trying to push back against protesters, and they're also trying to ensure that the protesters don't take law into their own hands and no untoward incident takes place. National Guards are also on standby. Whether or not they will be deployed, that only time will tell. But right now it is just the federal agents and federal officers versus the protesters. And there are two groups of protesters, viewers, one against Trump administration and one in support of Trump administration. And all of these protests started after an ICE agent shot an American citizen earlier this month, and protests have since escalated. And now there is also a ruling that ICE officers cannot use force or action against peaceful protesters.